Welcome to YOUCANIC. Today here in YOUCANIC we have a 2016 Dodge Journey, or also a 3.6 liter V6 Pentastar motor. So on this Pentastar motor we have 4 O2 sensors, and we're going to go over how you would replace them. Going to discuss where they are at and show you how to replace one. The first 2 O sensors are on the front side of the motor, closest to the front. You're going to have an upstream one and a downstream one, as well as on the back. The back side you're going to be able to get from under the bottom, and the front we can get this top one from up here and the other one down from the bottom. These front 2 are going to be a little bit tougher to do just because of the location they are and the space you have to work in. Now when the O2 sensors go bad and you read it on your code reader is going to say upstream in bank 1 or downstream in bank 1, right? And it'll say bank 1 or bank 2, depending on which side that is. So you would orient yourself with the way the motor is and know which side is bank 1 and which side is bank 2. So we have 3 cylinders on this side, 3 cylinders on the back side, and you'll have your bank 1 and your bank 2. So that's the way you're going to know which O2 sensor to replace. Now it's a very good recommendation if you're replacing any that you would replace at least the 2 on the one side, or you would replace all 4 of them. But if you only having issues with bank 1, of course you're going to want to check to make sure there's not some other issues that are causing that to begin with. But if it's downstream bank 1, you would replace the upstream as well as the downstream. So with that in mind, the O2 sensors, we're going to go down below and I'm going to show you where you gain access from below to be able to replace the ones. And like I said, the ones on the back of the motor are actually easier, or will be easier to replace, except for the fact that O2 sensors can get very, very corroded and stuck inside, that they can be very hard to get them to come free. You may have to use all different types of leverage to get them to loosen out. But we'll show you where those are at, located on this vehicle, or on, in general, most Pentastar motors. This vehicle you do have enough space to reach in the back, but this motor is in a lot of vehicles with the Dodge brand and Chrysler. You might not have as much space on different vehicles. So if you come down here, and this is the one on the front, we have the downstream O2 sensor, which is right here. This is the off the front exhaust manifold. This one's going to be a little bit tough to get to, being the fact that we've got this heat shield on here, and so you're going to need to put a socket on to be able to get your wrench and have enough leverage to get that undone. Now the wire for that one comes up here, and so you would unclip that connector that's right here for that one. The upstream one is right on the top of this, and the wire, and like I said, that's the one I'm going to show how we remove and replace, but you would just follow that same possible to get down here. But this one we can get from the bottom. Like I said, it's just going to be a little bit tougher because of that heat shield. So then if we slide down with our car jacked up and supported with jack stands, we can slide to the back here, and on the back here we have our O2 sensors. We have our downstream one right here. You can get a 22mm wrench around that, or the socket, and get pretty decent leverage. Got quite a bit of space in here to be able to loosen that one, and then we follow the wire connection, which is right back up here. The upstream one is right here, and so you can release that upstream one, same thing, 22mm wrench on there, and then follow this line and it connects right up here. Just squeeze those connectors, undo them, and replace your upstream O2 sensor. And so that's how you would do the back bank. I believe it would be bank 1 is right through here, right under the cross member on the bottom. But we have quite a bit of space from down here to be able to do this. So we have bank 2 O2 sensor up here at the top in the front, and it's right below this this line here. So it's right below that line. We should be able to get our socket on here, and be able to get this out. So to start with, we're just going to go ahead and remove this decorative cover that covers our engine. We'll set that aside, and then we're going to undo this electrical connector by pressing the clamp and then pulling. And we now have that undone. And now we'll take there's different sockets, but we'll take the O2 sensor socket, which the only thing it does is it goes over the O2 sensor and makes it that you can keep the electric connection on there. And so this is our O2 sensor socket. There's different ones where they have the socket and then the ratchet sides on the side. There's all different ways, or if you have enough space you can get a ratchet down in there, but we don't have enough space, and this will move a little bit, so we'll be able to get this on there. Now, like I said, O2 sensors can be a bit of a pain, so you're going to want to have pretty decent leverage generally to be able to get them to come out. Okay, so we got that to break free, and now you'll be able to back out your O2 sensor, and you would get a new one to replace. And like I said, if you're replacing bank 1, you go ahead and replace both sensors in bank 1, as well as if you're replacing them in bank 2, replace both sensors in bank 2. So this is the upstream sensor, and this wasn't as hard as some of them can be to be able to get out, but if they are harder, they can definitely be a pain. So we've got the upstream, the downstream you can do from below, as well as the two on the back, and you would just repeat that process to be able to remove and to replace. Now when you got your new one, we're just going to drop it in. You spin it in by hand, and then we do have the space. You could do that with with a wrench, but we've got our socket, so we'll put that on, and then keep it snug tight there. And now you'll connect your electric connector by just squeezing it together. And that would be how you would replace your O2 sensor. This is the upstream one, downstream one. We do the same on the bank 2, and bank 1 is on the back side of this motor, and you would just go ahead and do that for those also. Thanks for watching YOUCANIC, where you can be the mechanic.